Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had an outstanding weekend and are ready to go for finals this upcoming week. So just to give yourselves a tiny study and testing break, we'll get into Chapter 8 as a part of Part 3 of The Obstacle is the Way. And Chapter 8 is titled Meditate on Your Mortality. And the chapter begins by talking about an ancient philosopher by the name of Montaigne and how he had a near-death experience. And most of us have heard these stories before where somebody has this near-death experience and they come back with just a new light, with a new purpose, just a totally new outlook on life, more energized, right? And the one thing that this chapter wants to get into is talking about how just the idea of death itself, where death doesn't make life pointless, even though you cease to exist, but rather purposeful. And you shouldn't have to have a near-death experience to understand this. Because a lot of us, we live our lives with a fear of death whether we know it or not. And the one thing that we need to know is that this fear of death is an obstacle in our lives. And this fear of death being an obstacle, it shapes our decision making. It shapes our outlook and even our actions. Right? Even though it's not in our control, because death is inevitable. So the one thing we can control is how we live. We can't control how long. Because you see it all the time, and a lot of you have probably been exposed to it, where people in our lives probably die unexpectedly or before they should. Right? And it doesn't seem fair, but it's not in our control. It wasn't in their control either. And it sucks, but it's true. So this idea, like understanding this idea of death and really being inevitable, like it can help be invigorating in our own lives, to help get our priorities in check, to make sure that we're living the right way every single day. No matter what is happening in our lives, make sure that we're putting the most into our everyday life and into every opportunity that we're graced with, because we want to be able to live fearless, and most importantly, we want to be able to live right and take chances when others might not, because we know like that's in our best interest right now. We need to be able to see that now. We need to be able to meditate on our own mortality, because we don't want to have that death in the future. We don't want to be able to foresee that or live with a state of mind saying like, okay, I'm in fear of that, right? Because we don't know. That's something that we can't control. Like, live our day-to-day the best that we can and get the most out of it. That's going to give us ultimate happiness in our life. It's chapter 8. We got one more chapter, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait.